Allegiance. Pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
a couple seconds and reflection and remember silence. Silence. Okay, let's start. Roll call. Elaine Daly,
Here.
Heidi Nightingale,
Here.
Hans Petcher,
Here.
Mark Strong.
Here, sir.
Okay, motion to approve the minutes from March 13th, 2025.
Nightingale, hold it.
Second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
So moved. All right. Now I have a lot of appointments. Do I read all these appointments or what's the
I think they'll be voted on by,
You voted on at the full edge.
full edge? Okay. All right. Fred, you said you had a report. You want to do it now? I know I skipped over you, Sheila, but Fred, you said you had a report?
I'm over here. You want me to do it?
Yeah.
I had 3 minutes.
All right, 3 minutes.
time you.
It's on the clock. Been on the clock for 10 seconds.
10 seconds. Okay. So just briefly, I've been pointing out about the cooperation between DSS side of the house, the county attorney side of the house, that continues with the assistance of Ms. Ferris and Brittany Massey. We have some interviews coming up. We're for 3 positions. One would be assistant county attorney, assistant DSS attorney, and possibly a legal intern, paid intern. We'll keep everybody posted on that. I just wanted to bring you up to speed on that. Thank you.
Thank you. It was less than 3 minutes. Sheila,
Okay, the county has received checks totaling $20,638,000 from Comp Alliance. That's our member loyalty awards. We usually get that once a year. They give that to counties that haven't. So that's something we do get every year. We also received $12,095 from Dr. Spineri being deleted from our insurance. Those were checks to the county.
all right, thank you.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Sheila, you should take credit. I was told by Shireen, you guys had to do a lot of work to be eligible for that rebate.
Yeah, and we just did another one for our safety award. That will be awarded end of the summer.
You had to fill out answer questions and, yep, good.
Tom?
Yes. Good evening. So you have my full report. I just wanted to highlight quickly some of the work at Genesee, 63 Genesee Street. So at this point, as far as IT goes, we are well over 98% completion of the entire project. We have a few loose ends to tie up, which we're going to be working on some network upgrades over the weekend. They're pretty minor at 63, but we'll be completing those on Sunday. Then Monday and early next week, we're going to just tie in a couple extra security cameras and just finish some cabling. I'm also working closely with landlord over there on just our final electrical needs of the building. Other than that, from the IT side, we are ready to move forward. And that's 63 Genesee Street. As far as the other active project that we have over at Cayuga Community College, we had the real property department moved in over there, which went well. Our next department, we have just placed all the IT infrastructure for planning. I'm sorry, the planning we have moved in. Real property, we're placing all the IT infrastructure in, so they will be ready to go and move in as soon as next week, and as well as the clerk's office. So we're actually working hand in hand with them. They've moved all of their boxes and physical materials from the county office building first floor over to CCC. Now we're going to be helping move staff there next week as well. So we're making great progress in both locations.
Thank you. Any questions for Tom?
Yes.
Tom, do you know what the capacity for staff is in that area? How many we will can move in based on the space to us?
At Cayuga Community College?
Yes.
So right now I know we're focused on the clerk's office, IT department, okay, real property, planning. Did I say human resources? Human resources. I think those are the primary departments right now, and we're gonna kind of settle in and see how things go in the areas, because there is a lot of cube space and things like that. There are good offices there, but we want to kind of move in and see how the workflow is and then kind of go from there. I met with Shireen today this morning to kind of discuss that plan. Those are kind of the primary departments.
Okay, thank you. Yeah.
Any other questions? Okay. All right, Keith, you and Chantel?
So, we have our report, we're going to do resolutions, but we want to say a couple of words about the.
Kind of hard to hear you.
Okay,
Yeah.
let me go over here and I will project.
Mhm.
Better?
Yep.
Okay. So I want to say a couple words real quick, and I will be quick, and I've made some notes so I don't go on and on. Because those of you who know me know that I do sometimes go on and on, but I'm not going to. Won't be as quick as Fred, but I'll use his 3 minutes. But what I want to say is this, over the past several months, the John Camardo, Chantel Hoteling, and I have provided a variety of information, commissioners' salaries and comparability. Comparable salaries with other counties, board of elections, comparable salaries with our grade fours. And then we provided a number of other information as well. This was the foundation for the $35,000 that was in the previous local law that was withdrawn last month. Now, I do understand that you've been given some information with different numbers than the ones I provided. And one of the things I want to stress with that is this. In elections, size matters. If you want to compare county boards of elections, you have to look at the number of voters. That's what drives everything we do. And so the numbers I provided you were all of the counties that have 10% more or 10% less registered voters in Cayuga County. So anywhere from 45 to 55,000. I don't know what numbers you all got, but because I haven't seen them, I was involved in that. But I understand that it was kind of all over the place. So that's an important factor to keep in mind. The thing that I wanted to bring up most importantly is I see in this resolution, this local law, that there's an increase for 2%. Now, this has been a long and a drawn out process. And most of it, I think, done in executive session. So I really don't know where the 2% comes from. I don't know the foundation of it, but I understand, I've been told that the foundation was part-time, the non-bargaining Cayuga County employees. Well, I want to point out that in the salary structure, we're not part-time non-bargaining employees. We're grade 4 non-bargaining management employees. We're in the same category as the director of finance, commissioner of social services, and other professionals like, and rightly so. We may be part-time, but our responsibilities are full-time. We are responsible and solely responsible for elections in Cayuga County to make sure that they're fair, they're equitable, to make sure that the results are accurate, that they're counted accurately, they're reported accurately, and everything that goes along with that. So it's an important thing. It's the foundation of our democracy. It's not just something we do. It's the basis upon which everything in our democracy is based. So to compare us with part-time managerial people simply is misplaced. We have significant responsibilities, significant policy and decision-making responsibilities that have to be acknowledged. This is largely, again, the reason for the $35,000. It's not just comparable salaries, but it's comparable work as we look at what commissioners do in elections. I guess the bottom line here is this. What we're really asking today is for you all to amend the local law, return the $35,000 amount. That amount was based upon lots of data that was provided. And importantly, we do recognize it's a big increase, and it is. for last year. But it's also important to understand that commissioners are appointed for 4-year terms. During that period, salaries cannot be increased except by local law. So this isn't a 1-year increase, it's 4 years. And more importantly, as everyone in this room, I hope knows, the elections have changed significantly in the last few years. There's more oversight needed. Security is an issue, safety is an issue, dealing with objections is an issue. I want to exaggerate this, we frequently get complaints about what we do. Where did you come up with these numbers? And I think I've shared some of those over the years with you all. So the work now is different than it was 4 years ago, 6 years ago, 8 years ago. And this increase recognizes that work as well as the comparability that I've mentioned. So we would ask that you amend this for the 35,000. If you can't, I guess our second ask is to set it aside yet again and have an open discussion, not an executive session, but an open discussion so that we can participate to make certain that the information you're giving is accurate. Because quite frankly, I don't think it is. So those are our requests. And I leave it to you unless you have questions.
I do. You said it's grade 4.
Say what?
You guys would be considered a grade 4.
We're grade 4 in the counties. That's where we're placed in the counties.
Non-bargaining handbook.
I think I'd be interested in an open discussion because I went from neutral to this, and I'm flip-flopping a little bit. It's just hard to, with your guys' position, to get the information we need. It's not, so it would be helpful. I wouldn't mind that.
I can send you more information. I think I've sent.
You said a lot, but the thing is, I just want to make sure everybody's on the same page, because it's,
I'll send the information again before Ways and Means.
Yeah, I read it. I don't know if everybody else needed, but yeah. Any question for Keith or Chantel?
I can say it when the resolution comes forward or not, but basically I had asked, I think what got in the way of the request was the statement that we should be getting input from our HR director instead of just getting documents from you guys and deciding what we should do. And we did get input from our HR director, and I asked her for a copy of it again today so I could reference it. And then to your point, and I think new information, Heidi said she was kind of changing her position and she was going to talk about that tonight. I asked for someone to come over and review the information that we got. And basically, we do have, there was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 part-time counties, and we had the salaries for them. We had the number of full-time equivalents in those counties. What we did not have was the number of voters, registered voters in those particular counties, which to your point, and I do agree, that makes all the difference in the world in terms of the amount of work that you have to manage. So you had made the point, and this sheet kind of says, no, the majority of the full-time salaries are not in the 70s, but of the comparable counties to Cayuga with the number of registered voters, in fact, Livingston is 71, Cattaraugus is 79, Columbia is 79, Madison is 79, and there's a couple, 2 smaller counties, Tioga and at Seago, that make 51 and 62 respectively. But they're much smaller in terms of the number of voter registrations. So the argument is the full-time salary is, between 70 and 80. When you compare them to comparable counties with the number of same voter registration, that is true. And the one county that Diane said, Essex, actually, the part-time salary there was $29,812. They have far few registered voters, but they make that salary, and they also have 6 full-time employees. So I guess I was surprised to see that Cayuga County has only 2 full-time employees in their operation. And that's probably why the cost per voter is much lower in Cayuga County than other counties, because they don't have all those.
Yeah, we're not the lowest, but we're low. We are the third lowest FTE to voter ratio, or the highest, depending on how you look at it. We have over 12,000 voters per FTE. And that's the third worst or best, if you look at it. And the ones that have a higher ratio than that, we have a higher ratio by a few hundred, by a lot.
Yep.
And, and many have the ratios are 4, 5, 6,000. Right.
And, maybe not, maybe to my bad, I didn't really understand the significance of this, but it certainly put some questions in our mind. Is this warranted up to 35? So that's where I think the confusion came. You've gone back and forth.
Well, what I did was I originally found this, which you just showed, right? And and then as I looked, I seen a lot of lower numbers, which would have made you guys the higher paid
Right.
on that end. However, I did not think to figure out the voters that were attached to those numbers. So that's what I just,
So,
No, I understand that.
I didn't think about that. So I just got a range from like 20 something to 80 something.
Yeah.
When I originally worked, when I originally looked at it, I seen everything about 79 to 80.
I don't want to speak for Chantel, but we'll take 80, I think, won't we?
Absolutely.
yeah.
What's FTE?
The full-time equivalent.
Okay, sorry.
So
I didn't know.
They mentioned, we only have 2 full-time people in the office, and then we have 2 part-time clerks, and then 2 part-time commissioners, which makes us that at or close to the bottom of staffing in terms of number of staff. And that's a credit to our staff, by the way.
So I just wanted to let you know how what I arrived at. When I took the 80,000, I just did half of it because you're part-time. So originally I came up with a number that was closer to like 35-ish, And then afterwards, I was just, this is something what we typically do. So I didn't even, I don't know. I think we need to discuss this more.
We have been all over the place.
Yeah, Mark.
Are we looking to delay this until Ways and Means?
Well,
Table it to Ways and
Or
Means?
maybe approve it to Ways and Means.
That's what I guess.
do whatever. We could we could get this additional information out. We can pass a motion to amend it and move it. We can move it as is and for further discussion.
Heidi, I heard somebody reference that you had something to say.
Right.
So
I just wanted to say in terms of information that we've been given, nothing's really been hidden from us. In caucus, we received the information from Keith that included the number of voters.
Well, but I didn't memorize it and you
And
didn't have
it's-
any information about part-time,
I
right?
did not either.
I
Right.
seen
Last
it,
night,
but I
after
never
our-
calculated it. It never hit my head. I just seen it. Go ahead, I'm sorry.
Last night, after our informal conversation, I went back to all my notes, all the paperwork given, and I realized that on principle, absolutely on principle, and on more than the difference, the 2 comparisons, the HR comparison and the comparison given us by the Board of Elections, that there were other principles that were important to me. And that included some of the things Keith has repeated, that we are at a time when free and fair elections have become a national conversation and have caused a drop in volunteers who are willing to serve as polling workers at a time when violence can be a reality at election places. And our commissioners have innovated the use of 17-year-old volunteers in a way that has been noted across the state. Our polling places have been safe, they've been respectful, where voters are eager and can easily vote. We know that our Board of Elections and our commissioners also made a significant one-place, all-county polling place during this presidential election, which had tremendous positive response from the community and was a remarkable feat for that office. And during that election season, while we consider our Board of Election Commissioners part-time, we know that they are full-time, and yet, they're not asking for a stipend. They expect that as part of their professional duties. And I also wanted to say regarding the grade 4, which I didn't have a lot of information on, but my feeling was more is I wanted to beg to argue that being a commissioner of our county's Board of Elections is a bit more than what we're talking about when we gave the 2% to part-time non-bargaining, because those positions are very, very different. They're support positions, et cetera. Where I clearly.
Their hourly rate
that our-
positions,
Yeah,
yeah.
know the grade rate, but that our Board of Election Commissioners are similar to heads of departments. So I wanted to submit these 3 things. That number 1, the raise of $7,417 is not random. That the raise of $7,417 is principle-based. And that the raise is not a stipend based even on the Board of Commissioners work well beyond part-time work for several months during a critical part of each year. Thank you.
Hans?
Yeah, I haven't seen any of the information, so I'd like it for the information that's available, given to everybody, and that we postpone any action on this until Ways and Means as a motion.
I'll second it.
Okay.
Can I get a point of clarification? This will move to Ways and Means and be discussed there and determined.
Now, do we want to discuss it openly at that meeting?
What I can do is I can request of Diane to add to the information that she sent today, which had some full-time salaries on it and some part-time salaries. I can ask her if she would to include the number of registered voters in those particular counties. And then you can see where the comparisons would be. So I can certainly take this scratch and work with her, to your point, to give you that information.
Had that information yesterday when we talked.
I did not. Because we've all been back and forth.
Right.
And I'm like, should we do it? If HR's giving us this data, we want to do the right thing. We want to be reasonable for all involved. But as the more information came out, especially from the information that we were provided, and you didn't give any part-time information to Diane, did you? She told me you didn't have.
I gave her the same thing you all got. That included full and part-time. What the information we gave were comparable counties.
Yeah.
As I mentioned, counties with 45 to 60 to 55,000.
Yep.
voters. And those are all of the counties in the state in that range.
Yep.
And then also some of the contiguous counties that we always like having those mixes. Some of those are full-time, some are part-time. So yes.
Did you have all that, Mark, or no? No.
We obviously had a discussion and.
No, did you have the information that Keith came and talked to 4 of us in caucus? Did you ever get that information from Chantel? Those sheets, those,
Chantel and I texted back and forth.
you got the information?
I can't remember if I emailed it or I texted.
You would
I
text,
did to Bob, to Mark, and to Tom Winslow.
uh-huh.
Had several conversations with
Yes.
Chantel via phone, text messages, plus, emails.
About send that again and we'll update this.
I'll send it, if you wish, I'll send it to everyone.
Yes,
Because
absolutely.
We've never been asked to send this information.
Yep.
And we considered it an overstep to send it to everyone based upon the fact that we think everyone should have had it. That's not, that's, in our view, that's not
But
appropriate.
if there's no objection, they can send it.
I don't-
Yes.
I think that, I would like an open discussion because it's not your typical position. It's a appointed position. And, you did provide, as Heidi said, but I'm gonna be honest, I didn't even look at the voter registrations. And I didn't even think about, looking at the voter registration for comparisons until, Elaine brought it up. So I think it'd be helpful to have you in the conversation and I would support it going ways.
Okay.
So I think we have a motion and a second. Do we have to have all?
We didn't even, he didn't even read the resolution yet. He's just been,
Right.
On the
They
table.
talk,
Okay.
huh?
It's not even on the
It's not even on the table
All
yet.
right.
It's all 3 minutes of Batman over there. Yeah. All right. Any other question for Keith or Chantel?
Thanks.
All right. Is Kevin here?
Yeah.
Oh,
He is, he's hiding back there.
Afternoon, everybody. You have my report. Couple things to highlight. We visited Sterling with the Office for the Aging on the 4th of April. I'm going down to Summerhill on the 23rd of April. I was able to talk to town clerks up in Fort Byron earlier this week. That was a good productive meeting. And as what a lot of places I go, I talk in general about veterans, and one of the people there, one of the clerks came up to me and said, "My son's a veteran, what about this?" So, that happens as I circulate around as well. Probably the biggest project we're working on right now is planning for the 50th anniversary of the end of Vietnam. And I've got a little thing where we can see discharge paperwork for veterans in the county. And I knew there were quite a few, but I had someone go through as many of these files as possible. And we have, I had to guess, but I haven't counted them individually, over 600 Vietnam veterans who went to Vietnam, who put their DD 214 on file with Cayuga County after their return. To me, that's a pretty significant number, and it's a big stack. And so we're actually going through that and finding out where they are. And we found some veterans who likely are going to be eligible for benefits, but the other side of this is we're also looking for widows of veterans who could be eligible for benefits as well. And as I said, that's my priority right now is contacting the Vietnam veterans and making sure that they're getting the benefits they can. So also still looking for any events. If you've got something in your area that you think it would be good for us to table at for outreach, let me know and we will definitely do that. Any questions on that?
Okay, thank you.
I do have 2 resolutions if you want to do those now.
Yeah, I'm doing right now. You want to talk about a little bit or?
Well, I mean, they're pretty straightforward.
Yeah.
One of them is one of my drivers. We run the shuttle to VA Medical Center. He has expressed he is likely going to be moving to Oklahoma in the coming months. And so I need to plan ahead to ensure we get it advertised. And if he does do that, we can hire a new driver. So that's the one resolution on the table there. And then I've got one vacant VSO position that's funded with New York State Dwyer Fund program money. And I've got another VSO right now who is likely to be moving on here in the future. Again, it's preparatory to get the position advertised. And so we can hopefully get some applicants for that.
I would
Right.
move to bundle GO1 and GO2.
I'll second that.
Okay, all in favor?
I just have one question.
Yes,
The Dwyer funds, are you worried about those?
that's state funding.
Okay, so no.
As of right now, I have not heard anything negative about that.
Okay.
And as I bring on these VSOs, I tell them this is dependent on New York State funding. And so I'm very open and honest about the way the positions work.
Okay, we have a motion to bundle. Second, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
So moved. Any questions, abstentions, anything? Okay.
Thank you.
I think we have GO3 and GO3 is a fixed day of notice of public hearing on local law providing salary increase for certain county official elected or appointed for fixing the term during their term. Can I get a motion?
I'll move that.
Second,
Thank you, second.
all in favor?
This is for the county attorney,
No, the
first
one No.
is.
Board of Elections.
Oh, wait, mention, outside discussions. First one's for board election.
Yep.
I think we already had a discussion already. Any other discussions you guys want to have about it?
I mean,
Is there a motion to move it to ways, to
well,
revert
Tom made
to,
his motion.
to refer it to ways?
You're right. That's the motion.
Tom, you want your motion to refer to ways?
Nope.
And I seconded.
Okay, so now we vote on that.
Okay.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay, GO4, appointing local law in 2025, providing a salary increase for certain county officials elected or appointed to fixed term during their term. So can I get a motion for that?
I'll move it.
Thank you, second.
Any discussion?
This is obviously for the county attorney,
This is the
to
county
set the salary at 140 for the remainder of his term.
Yeah.
And, you know, basically, I don't think the salary has moved since 23.
23.
So I'm in full support of this.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. All right, motion to adjourn? Okay. Yeah.
Second.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
All right.
I've no
Time to go.
You look worried over there, young lady.
Oh, I'm just listening about the carriages.
Actually, I think the floor is on the
No, that's very cool. Large, is that what you want to go for, Karen? We're fun.
Monday night's perfect.
Because in this limited conversation, I was just.
Tell it, Hans, tell him to shake a leg.
No, I mean, he's got more stuff.
Oh, yeah.
You might not get it.
I thought we were in order for these.
I have to run.
No, don't need order.
Okay.
Let's go.
You have to leave? All right, we have a quorum, not by much, but we have a quorum. Tom Winslow is excused. We have Elaine Daly here. Aileen McNabb Coleman will be leaving, so she's excused, Ben Vitale and myself. I'll entertain a motion for the minutes approved of March 13th, 2025.
I'll move that.
Thank you, Elaine. Move second. Second by Ben. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay, we have listed the appointments for the month, be taken care of at the whole edge meeting. I'm going to switch just one slot, I promise, and let Gary go because Gary's got to go.
Thank you, appreciate that. Sorry for the shakeup. I gotta go up to Conquest. You have my report. There's just a couple minor things I want to highlight for everybody. We had our first e-waste recycling event of the season. It was extremely successful out at the community college. And again, we partnered with Highway to have that collection happen simultaneously in Ira and at Venice Highway Garages. We collected 57,471 pounds of electronics that did not go into a landfill or the side of the road. And so our tire collection event will be in conjunction with Soil and Water on Saturday, June 7th. We did our annual Ag District inclusion period in March, as we always do. We did not receive any applications this year. Not shocking since most of the farms are already in. We did receive our reimbursement from Park Grove for the county infrastructure grant, so we are paid in full with that as promised. We are working on right now outreach for a second round. There will be a flyer and a form going out to all towns, villages, et cetera, trying to get projects outside the city for a second round. Staff right now is assisting Doug with several grant applications that one's going in very soon and the next one will be following shortly behind. And I am pleased to announce we have hired a planner. She's starting on Monday. Thank you again for the support and allowing us to do that. We had 14 applicants that were approved by civil service, which is the most we've had in a very long time. And we interviewed 4 highly qualified candidates and it was a tough choice. Out of my abbreviated report, unless there's any question.
I know I'm not a committee. You switched the e-waste from BOCES to the community college. Did you feel it was more efficient at the college?
It was a little bit more efficient. The request to switch from BOCES to the college came from the vendor from Sun King. They wanted someplace that had easier flow. We did have a slight hiccup in that at the last minute, the college let us know they had a basketball tournament scheduled at the same time on the same day. So that was a little hinky, but the sheriff's office did an amazing job with traffic control and everything. So it was really successful.
Any more for Karen?
Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
Yeah. We have a brief presentation tonight. Mr. Bud Shattuck is going to speak with us and enlighten us on CCDC.
Chairman, thanks for having us. So I brought Tracy with me and John Ladishin. So John, previous chair, on the board long before me, had been on 10 years, I think. So the reason that I called Bob was just, it's a small community. things are said, we hear things. So I hear things and I say, I should at least address the legislatures the best I can. And I was told this is where I go to first to talk about what we really do at CCDC. So let me just give you an overview of how I see it and maybe you'll get some other perspective. But there's lots of entities that provide economic development in the county. So there's CCDC, so we're a loan program, the only public one there is. And then there's the IDA, which most people know about. They do pilots and other things within theirs. There's the SBDC, the Small Business Development Group out of Syracuse, but they have a person here who does a lot of the same things and drums up business and they do a lot of the training. I mean, we provide some of that money to them to do some of the training for new employees or new businesses that want to start up so they have an understanding of where they need to be and how to get a report together. And county. So if you saw the county report that Carrie provided, they provide because they've got the New York Forward piece, 300,000 for Moravia. So they will help with some of the small businesses up and down Main Street. And my guess is that they will also get the same thing for the three municipalities on the lake that got the $10 million. They, I believe, put $500,000. I don't know if that's per municipality or total together. That will also go through because Carrie did most of that work for each of those municipalities. She writes most of the grants. She is a gem, county. I mean, I hope you guys understand just how good she is and the things that she does. So what we do is we help businesses that are looking to expand, looking to add people, looking to start up, so new startup businesses. And but we have a procedure as to how loans come to us and what we have to do to look at those. Our job is the due diligence. So if you're thinking about due diligence, how you look at every application that comes in, we want to know everything in the background because what we'll ask for is, what are the assets that you have? So sometimes it's personal because it's a small business is starting a restaurant or something like that. We want to know what their personal assets are to make sure we're not putting money into someone who doesn't have the other assets to back what they're already doing. So we look at those things and we see ourselves as a subset. So, I mentioned other places that do that, the IDA and the SBDC, the county, ourselves. There's a group that wants to provide economic development. And I think that you've heard, I don't know where your chairman went, but he talks about economic development all the time. And so when I sit with him, we talk about economic development. How do we provide what we're going to need for Micron and for growing regular business in the county, whether it's on the southern end in Moravia, Lockton, or in the northern end where he lives, and the donut communities that are already somewhat thriving, but still need growth around the city of Auburn. So, and I forgot the AIDA. So the Auburn IDA is another piece of what we do. Our goal is at some point to co-locate. You remember when we had the way things were before, and then it sort of dissolved, and it was in the paper. When things hit the paper and people read it however they want to, it's their perspective and stuff. But then the county, before the building and all the other things happened, got the Comerica report, and that said, here's the best way to build a one-stop center. And at the time, they looked at it and said, well, maybe, and it may have been partially because of who was in charge at the county levels, at different levels through there, say the best way to do it may be to have CCDC be that entity. We've never looked to be the lead agency unless we're asked. If we're asked, we certainly can step up. We've got a 5-person board. There's no one with political entities in our board. It really is just looking at economic development, how we help small, large businesses and other pieces. On top of that, we do bonding. So I think it was 2018 or something, we bonded 10 or $15 million for the bonding as the conduit for the hospital when they were growing. We have another one on the table, and I think I've given each of you the sheet so that you can look at over the years who we've loaned to and how we've done it. So lots of agricultural places. So we look at the ag market because we understand that, Cayuga County is the number one milk producer, the number two sheep place in the state for the whole state. So we look at especially entrepreneurial places that do things with agriculture. My favorite's always the breweries. I think that's where everyone should be looking for things but so we've provided for the Prison City and for the vodka, but we've also done stuff for the college and the Gavris Center. So we take a look at everything that comes, but separate. And my take on coming here was to say, we're a separate entity. This is what we do. We loan stuff, and I don't know anything about bonding other than when I was mayor. I understand bonds and bans and RANs because I've run through all of those, but I don't know how we would do that. But Tracy knows. So, Tracy's been here for a long time. She really understands the economic development pieces that have gone, and she's on our board. And we're glad to have her. One of the reasons we were glad to have her, she was the first woman we were able to get onto the board, because I didn't like it. I liked it that, the guys were there and they were all bright and everything. I didn't like it that we didn't have a diverse perspective.
So I'm just gonna put a fine point on some of the stuff that Bud had mentioned is there's this economic development ecosystem. CCDC is one piece of that ecosystem. And right now, all we're focused on is our revolving loan fund and being the on behalf of issuer of bonds for civic facilities for the county. We're not currently pursuing any other plans. We're not asking for anything from this group at this point. We are very much willing to be part of the county-driven conversation about economic development and how to bring that together again and how to move forward. But we are not kind of coming here to say, we want to be the one stop. We want to be part of a conversation about a comprehensive solution. And if that leads one way, great. If it leads a different way, great. Whatever is best for the county and the community, we're on board. We want to be helpful. We want to be part of the solution, and we want to be in the right role. But for the time being, in the current year, loans, bonds, that's what we're really focused on. We want to get money out the door into the community, especially as we're seeing more and more challenges coming up for businesses who want to expand. So to just put that fine point on it, the IDAs exist, the SBDC exists, but we're a separate entity from those, and we're in our lane right now, and we're happy to be there, but happy to continue conversations. So anything that you've seen in the past around budgets, that's in the past. And right now, we just want to be part of the economic development ecosystem.
Would it be fair to say that you would be looking at ways to, I don't know, recruit or to get additional people for this? I mean, I see there's only one in 24, one loan.
Yeah.
So reaching out to people that may benefit from this, how do you go ahead and market yourselves?
Yeah, so I mean, traditionally, we've used the ecosystem to market ourselves. And so we are now currently getting leads from the city, from Michael Miller, from SBDC. So our leads are coming from that ecosystem right now. And we're also working on updating, having a better web presence, because right now we're on the county page and we need to have a place for our own documents. But, a lot of it is just leveraging that network right now. And
you make money through interest? I mean, is that how it works?
Yeah, pretty much. We've got a fund, and when they pay us back, when the loan takers pay us back, we get interest on that. And then any money that we're holding, we also get interest on. So That's how we fund our programming.
What makes you different from a conventional bank?
We have more flexibility in our loan terms. So we can take a different perspective. We're not regulated in the same way. So we can go, a lot of our loans are right around prime as opposed to a prime plus. So we can do lower interest lending, and we can also lend to businesses that either can't fulfill their full need through a bank. So we can do gap financing. So business goes to a bank, they get 70% of what they need. We can come in with the other 30%. Or we can do loans to businesses that can't get a traditional loan for whatever reason. There's a divorce on their credit and otherwise they're in great shape. They just have this issue, stuff like that. Or maybe they're newer and are building up their credit. So we can be a little bit more flexible in our lending. But that said, we want to make sure, to Bud's point, we do our due diligence. We've got the collateral to cover it in case something does go wrong. And that we're looking at the performance and the financials to make sure it's a good decision.
Bob, if I can just add to that, our interest is not in making a profit of doing loans. So I'm a commercial banker. So as Tracy said, it's very much, it's a very much easier process. It's less expensive in terms of the fees associated with doing a commercial loan. And we are not driven, we don't want to lose money, but we are not driven by the profit motive. We want to get the money out into the community. Our profit is getting paid back and seeing a business thrive in the community. That's what we do it for.
Yep. So we can't do every loan, but if you do know businesses in your communities that are looking for resources, by all means, there's certain things we fund, so.
I guess I'm curious. I've heard, again, rumors, and how rumors are. So you're here, you're willing to hopefully answer this question. I've been told that you might be looking to partner with the IDA.
We have a month or a bi-weekly economic development meeting that I participate in, Steve participates in, Michael participates in, but we don't currently have any official collaboration in discussion.
That might be for office space.
Oh, yeah, we are looking to co-locate office space.
Office.
We are looking to co-locate business, the IDA and SBDC to have all of those services in one place.
I think if you're thinking about merging so that we have a traditional one-stop, whether it's 3 or 4 separate entities in one building, at some point, while we don't need money from the county right now, the county should be thinking about funding that, whatever it is that is finally decided on, how you work, whether we share leadership or we just share space or whatever it is. The county has an obligation within this economic development drive to say, we'll pay for the space or we'll help. Because if you look at what's happened over the years for CCDC, we've always had a director and staff who do all the minutes and put the Paris reports in and get all that stuff done. Right now, we've hired someone separately, so we're paying someone separately on an hourly basis to get all of our work done. But the object would be long-term, while we're a subset of the county, we serve at the pleasure of the board. We really think the county should be thinking about, if this comes together, if there's a way for it to come together, the county needs to have some money in the game. And if you don't have any money, that's different. But I think that's a harder thing to think about. But so for your question about how, if we plan on being co-located with the IDA, we'd love to do that. So, we know most of the people on the IDA. John's also on the IDA board. So there's these meetings of the leadership already happening, being in the same space so we can more equally share that. Our role really is, someone comes to us and says, we have an application process and it's tiered as to how much they have to pay based on how much they want to borrow. And we look at those applications and then we In the past, we had CETA do all the due diligence. They would go out and they would check all the background stuff and then they would verify all of that. Now we have to do it ourselves. So that's, again, there's a cost to some of that. We can bear that cost right now. But at some point, the reason we come to you is legislative representatives is there should be a time when the county decides to get back in and say, you know, this makes a lot of sense. And those rumors that you hear, we hear them also. We hear lots of other things. But we don't feel like it's them versus us. We don't feel that at all.
So.
Yeah.
As a simpleton in your field, I'm not knowledgeable very much. But what I hear, which I've heard you say tonight, I see there's like 4 different businesses, offices, however you want to label them, all doing the same thing.
There
It's
is.
doing something different.
Yeah.
You are doing something different, but the other 3.
So the 2 IDAs do something like they're regulated in the same way under the same laws. CCDC is under a different section of the law and is empowered to do different things than the IDAs. And SBDC is a arm of the SBA. So there's overlap in capabilities between the 2 IDAs, but each of the other organizations is really playing its own role.
Well, I heard you say you have a third party that you pay.
Well, we have a director that we pay, yes, that's, someone has to do the work.
Yeah, the day-to-day.
You know, if we don't meet every day, we don't go over everything a day, we don't talk every day, we have a meeting once a month. So we have someone that's going to the banks and finding out what the rates are, we have money in the bank, what's the rates that we're collecting at. That same person would contact people who are late on their loans and say, you know, you're late on your loans. We don't want to give you the penalty because there's like a 1% or 3% penalty if it's late. We give them a little bit of leeway. Sometimes they forgot or they, you know, whatever happened to make sure that those loans get paid on time. And also to talk to the lawyers and to other things. So so we hire someone to do that. In the past, the county has provided that service. Now we're taking it out of our own funds to have that done, to have a person do that. We bought our own computer. We have bought a cell phone. We're ramping up, but we can't do anything more until we have a space. And we don't know if that's going to be a co-located space or if we're just going to float for a while until.
So this person that you're saying you've hired is.
Well, Steve Lynch.
Excuse me?
It's Steve Lynch. Most people know who works for us.
He works for you on an hourly rate.
On an hourly basis, as I said.
Your director?
Well.
So that's his title for insurance purposes, but
Right.
he's administering the day-to-day process of the loan program and the bonding. He's not doing necessarily, like, we're not doing a full-out economic development programming. He's really just doing the day-to-day work to keep us afloat and make sure we're compliant, which means you're compliant, and make sure that we're bringing that loan money back in, make sure that we're bringing, he reviews applications as they come in. So he's administering the day-to-day of the loan and the bond programming.
You would have to look at the type of paperwork and stuff that happens through the CCDC to understand just how hard it is. None of us could really just go in there and do that as a job. So when we hire someone on a full-time basis, because he's just contractual through year 2025, when we hire someone on a full-time basis, we'll have to hire someone at a salary, and we'll have to figure out how to pay for that salary based on interest rate that we get back, interest that we have on our savings and stuff, or that the county says, you know, here's a good way for us to put things together as it was before, and pays a portion of that or something like that. So
So we're stopgapping until there's a more permanent solution to keep the programs running.
I guess, you know, like, there was confusion. it is fair to say that, there was discussion in the past that CCDC could become the economic development agency for the county. We all heard that information. We also had a proposal that perhaps CCIDA could become the economic development agency so we just obviously derailed by the building. Are you saying, you're not moving ahead to become that unless the county says to you, we're interested in getting a proposal from you to be the economic development arm for our county and get the base funding the county gives, just like we gave to CETA, plus probably more. We could do the same conversation with CCIDA. We could ask you to merge together and get a co-proposal. I mean, that's what you're saying. You want us to know you have not gotten ahead of us in making a plan for this funding that until you're asked to, you're not opposed to it, but you would certainly, the county has to come to some agreement as to who is going to do the economic development work in this county and who are we going to give this base funding to?
Yeah,
Right.
and maybe John will help me with this. At the time, I think the IDA was going to step in because we were at a place where we were needed and we offered to take that on.
Right.
Until some other arrangements were made. We don't have the capacity that CCDC has. But I think that's what was our intent at the time, John. Wasn't just
Like a stopgap after.
let everybody go, we'll just help you along till.
It's what exists today, and today, if IDA doesn't go above and beyond and talk to
Small
businesses and individuals, and that brings them into us, the CCDC doesn't do that, then
It's not getting done.
it's not getting done, so better to put something together for the short term, which is what we have done. At least get these things going, make sure the businesses feel comfortable, and they're aware that they can come to somebody, versus just letting them, roam through the city, roam through the county, trying to find somebody they can talk to. So it's working. I think SBDC has done a great job for us.
Where is SBDC? Where is SBDC?
Okay, that I can't.
2 State Street.
2 State Street?
It's a 2 State Street downstairs.
Oh, the building we all go into now. Oh, okay. So the chamber and SBC. Okay.
Yeah, so, but if there was to be a co-location situation with CCDC, CCIDA, SBDC would likely be in that space as well.
Right.
And possibly even Auburn IDA could come in at some point if it looked like that was a fluid way to do things, because everyone looks at the same stuff. And I look at the Bound IDA plant. If you want to fill that in, Auburn's not going to do that by themselves. They're going to need county and CCDC and everyone else to say, we want to fund portions of all of these things.
Yeah.
SBDC is a new addition, I believe, to that space. Just recently, we signed them in, and I foresee us collaborating on a project and not too.
They had a staff of 2, 3.
So their regional office is a pretty big staff, but there's there's 2 people that actually staff Cayuga County.
Oh, okay.
But their regional office has a lot of resources.
And they're not here every day either.
3 days a week they're here. But we've contributed between the county and, CCIDA at this point has paid it, and the city, $25,000 for them to be here 3 days a week.
Small business group isn't brand new. They work with CETA all the.
Yeah, they use
Been
the
here all the-
office in and out as well.
Is that where the original money for CCDC came from? No, small, something different. Okay.
County back years ago, correct me if I'm wrong, Ben. We gave them, CTC, we gave them money back. No, we gave the IDA money to pay the small business group.
So the CCDC
was like-
revolving loan fund.
Right.
It was a loan fund that was in a separate committee that was under the county, and it got moved into CCDC.
Right, in
So
2018.
It was an
I think.
existing revolving loan fund that just got moved to CCDC. So
Yeah, but you're talking about No, I'm talking about that loan they got. Sorry, no, that's fine.
Yep, that was all funded by CDBG, USDA, and HCR maybe?
Let's say.
No, maybe not. Community
It
renewal.
wasn't.
Yeah.
So it was sitting with the county and the
It was
county
sitting with the
moved
county
it
and the
to.
county moved it.
And it was run out of
CCDC.
county planning, I think, at the time.
Yeah, yes.
So everything was run out of county planning before the split came and seated.
Yeah, so
It
wasn't like a county budget allocation. It was a loan program that was grant funded that just got moved.
Hans?
Question on Wells College Water System, 550,000. And what is the status of that?
Well, I talk to Jimmy Orman all the time because I was the former mayor of Union Springs and we're working with most of the municipalities. Again, for those that don't know, I work for MRB, doing government to government stuff. So I talk to Jimmy all the time. I talk to his board members. The article that was in the paper was pretty accurate today. It's, they really need money from the state. The federal government usually runs things through AFC, but there's a long process to that. They need some stopgap funding. We don't deal with municipalities.
I'm kind of confused by the, again, Wells College, that says year 2018. Then we go over to the last column, closed, open, and it's 2018. So what is
They paid off their loan.
They paid off the loan.
So Wells paid off their loan, yes. So
Okay.
when you look at the closed ones, those are people that, and you see the numbers that have already paid. So they were on a, 1 year, 3 year, 5 year payment program, and they paid off their loan. So all those you see there, the ones that are duplicated on there may have come back, like Prison City or the Spring side, come back because they had other programs they wanted to put out. And so they came back to us for a separate loan or to merge a loan that was almost paid off with a new loan. We don't let loans come out if they already have one that's out there. So they would just merge that together, ask for a new amount, show that they have the ability to pay it back if something happens. And that's sort of what you see in me.
So why was a loan given for 20 years? And then it's paid back, what? That's what it says on there.
That was probably.
20-year loan and then they
Yeah.
paid it off in 18.
That, it was written for that with the expectation that I believe they received state funding, but that was more of a bridge loan because I believe they needed to order some parts. I don't recall totally, but that was meant more as a bridge loan to tide them over until the funding came in from the state, but they needed to do the work when they needed to do the work. But yeah, it was never going to be out there for 20 years, but to make the numbers work, we structured it as a 20-year loan. So the payments are smaller, and then when the state money came in, they paid us off, and now it's closed.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Bud.
Anything else? Any other questions? Ben, I haven't heard anything from you.
Be quiet.
I'm not used to that.
I appreciate you coming.
Okay.
Excellent job.
Thanks.
Kelly?
Good evening, everybody. One thing I will add to my report that I didn't put in there is that I've been working with Cayuga Centers. So you probably saw in the news or heard that they're doing a mass layoff due to funding cuts. So there's been some discrepancies in numbers, but they currently employ just over 1,000 people. It looks like the number I was reported was closer to the 120, but I know the news reported on about 200 affected. I assisted them with filing a warn notice to give out to their employees so that they can close or lay those folks off in close to the end of June. So did assist them with that process, hooked them up with the Department of Labor. As part of the rapid response team, I'll be responding to the layoff, going in person, spending time with them and supporting them through the process. What's actually been pretty unique, well, I won't say unique, it happens, but some of the employers in the community have reached out to me as soon as they, heard of the layoff. They're reaching out and saying, how do we get these workers? It happened with Wells College, same idea. So it's nice to see that now the business community is connecting employment and training
with, we're coming full circle now. So the businesses are reaching out versus us reaching out to them. And they're like, how do we get these workers and how do we fill our gaps with the unfortunate news of Cayuga centers? So working with them, that's not in my report because the news came to me after I think I submitted my report. But one other thing I kind of want to highlight, it's in my report somewhat, but we're really ramping up our partnership with Auburn Police Department. We met with them last week, basically about the GIVE initiative and the GIVE initiative that they're involved in, and working with them on how to do enhanced kind of our outreach, really enhancing it with the help of the police department, because they've mapped out targeted areas for gun violence and risk for the youth. And they kind of have designated neighborhoods and things that, they're going in, and now we're going with them. So we're able to target the groups just a little bit more effectively by partnering with the police department. That program is really blossoming. I'm happy that, we have a staff person, but now we're up to close to 50 youth enrolled in our program. But having the support and the partnership with the police department is making a big difference. So we're happy, very happy about that.
You're supposed to deal with high-risk youth too?
We do. So for the gun involved youth, yes. It's similar to our summer program. The only thing that's different, so summer program comes from the same funding stream, low income, poverty line. The difference with this initiative under GIVE is really honing in and trying to do, it's not that it's required, but they want you to spend more time doing outreach to those kids that could be affected by gun violence.
Yep.
It goes hand in hand with poverty anyway. But we do work with my staff has been working with the district attorney's office, Auburn Police Department, probation, Auburn Housing Authority. So certainly trying to reach that population as well.
Thank you. Again, I'm not a member of the committee, so thank you for the opportunity. I'm just going to say selfishly, I hope that when you are working with these Cayuga Center folks, you are offering them information about caseworker kinds of positions right here in our DSS department, because as we've talked about, we're at crisis level.
Yes, absolutely.
Caseload because of lack of caseworkers. So keep us in mind too.
Yes, sure. Well, yes, we do. We certainly promote all open jobs in each department in the county. I think a lot of the department heads and departments don't realize that we search out the open positions on the county's website and promote them for the departments separately. We just had a job fair last week, and Cayuga County did participate. In the past, I will say that we haven't had, I'm happy that they participated. And the employers that pay for job fairs, we did a mini job fairs, we had 5 or 6. They'll pay for job fairs at the On Center and at Destiny, and they'll have 5, 6 people come through. We had over 50 job seekers attend our mini job fair. The county was a part of it. We do promote all county openings, not just for social services and caseworkers, but throughout each department in the county. So we are doing that, and we'll continue, but certainly we keep them on the radar. So.
I wanted to give you kudos. I was really excited to see your classroom training success stories.
Okay.
I mean, that was like, wow, that's huge. I'm hoping we can get more through that, but to have these graduates and be employed and be members of the community is awesome.
I'm going to start including those. I mean, we have those success stories all the time. I just don't necessarily share them, but I'll add and continue them in my reports. Great, thank you.
Thank you.
Good evening. Excuse me for my voice tonight. Not quite sure what's going on yet, but wanted to highlight our Ag Literacy Week event, which actually to get to, we had 2,000 students that we reached in every elementary school in the county. So it actually stretches out until most of March to get to all of them. But want to extend my appreciation to the Cato Meridian, Bravia, Fort Byron, Southern Cayuga, and Union Springs FFA chapters. They helped us out quite a bit this year. where the older students from the FFA chapters went in and worked with the elementary students. Another, in addition, something that's not in my report, many of you may have seen the news that some of Cornell's federal funding has been frozen or will be frozen.
Like $1 billion.
Yes.
Yeah.
Like $1 billion. At this point, I don't have any additional information on that or how that might impact Cornell Cooperative Extension in Cayuga County, hoping that there's some more clarity in the coming weeks. Happy to take any questions.
Anybody questions for Dan? No? Thank you, Dan. Karen?
Hello, good evening. I'm going to start with the fun stuff because, you know, I love to bring giveaways. So this is our newest poster. It is the Erie Canal for the bicentennial. As I'm sure everybody's heard by now, the Erie Canal is turning 200 years old. And this is our commemorative poster. You will see it all along the communities that are participating with us in this discussion. Sure.
Thank you.
I'll leave a whole bunch extras for anybody then who wants to pick some up. And so you'll see these posted around as part of the bicentennial, as part of our entire website that we have dedicated towards the events that are happening along the area. In this same context, I don't know if you've heard yet, but the communities of Montezuma, Port Byron, and Weedsport received the Erie Canal Town participation. This is the first time the Parks and Trails has done a community one with 3 different communities combined. And it is because of the efforts of Cayuga County that happened last year. We applied, we didn't get it, and they said you didn't get it because we don't allow multi-community applications, but they changed the regulation in order to accept our application this year. So we are very excited with the process. It'll be a lot of fun. We are part of the advisory council that's being put together. And so you'll hear more conversation about this over the next couple of months. The whole process will be starting soon and it'll be wrapped up by November. So it's 1 year of consultation that they provide. There'll be a report delivered at the end with short-term and long-term goals. And with that, the communities can use it to apply for grants to execute those programs. So we're looking forward to that. We will be up in Fairhaven on, it should be my report, 14th, I believe it is. It's on a Tuesday to continue our community days conversations. We've done these in Auburn, Weedsport, Moravia, and now we're headed up to Fairhaven. We invite community members, residents, businesses, elected officials to have a conversation about the good, the bad, and the ugly of tourism in the area. What are your challenges? What are the good things? What can we help you with better? So we invite you to join us and be part of the conversation. We are doing it in conjunction with the Fairhaven Chamber of Commerce. We did it with the Moravia Chamber of Commerce last time, and it was very successful. So it was a good win-win for both of our organizations. We will be conducting, I've had in my report a couple of times, the accessible travel workshop that we're doing. We're bringing Wheel the World to Cayuga County. They are an international accessibility assessment agency that will look at many of our assets and kind of provide a report on everything you're doing right. And these are some of the things that you can improve. It is not an ADA report. So it's not a pass or fail. It is in how can you improve and be more welcoming to a greater community. So all the benefits of it, all the things that they're doing right will be listed on our website. We'll be sending it to the I Love New York website. And we'll also have a special landing page for the Finger Lakes region at the Wheel the World website. So this will help inform visitors who either themselves have mobility issues or any members of their family. And this is over a $50 billion industry nationwide, of course. So it will position us very nicely with third-party vetted information. It's not me saying this is a great place. This is an organization that does this for a living, and it's very respected on that. And the last thing I'll mention, which is not in my report, May 6th, we'll be hosting our third youth summit, and Kelly will probably be in touch, because what we do is we talk to the Auburn Greater School District. They bring about 20 to 30 students. It's a half-day session. We include a lunch, talking about what is the tourism industry, how do you engage with the tourism industry, and what are the jobs available to you. We bring in some tourism professionals to speak with them and kind of tell them, this is the path that got me to my position. This is what I studied, these are the different jobs that I had, this is what I do for my job. So it's to inspire them and learn what the tourism industry is all about. So that is Wednesday, May 6th. And then, of course, the 7th, I brought some information last time, and we're happy to have pass the postcard again. We sincerely invite all of you to join us for the where tourism meets community. It'll be right across the street at Emerson Park on the 7th from 11 to 1:30. We include a lunch, so we will feed you. And we will just be discussing what is tourism. We'll be talking about the state of tourism in Cayuga County, as well as the state of tourism in New York State. We have a couple of speakers that will be joining us, and we'll be having a panel as well to talk about it. So I'll pass this out again.
Yep.
Yes. Take one, pass it around.
Thank you.
I can just put it in. There is a code. You want one? All right. There is a code. I only have one left, but I can, of course, send you the email. There is a code for a comp ticket. We made special comp ticket for individuals who organizations wouldn't sponsor them, but we wanted to make sure that you were part of the conversation. And as I mentioned, really the topic is for community meets tourism. That's how Cayuga County does tourism. It's not about how many people can we get here and how much money can we squeeze out of them. It's about who is the right tourist for our destination. That's why we have these conversations that we're having in Fairhaven to understand who is our community and how do you want to be represented and what kind of a visitor do you want to host. So please join us. I'm done.
Thank you. Any questions for Karen? No? All right. I don't see Kyle here for his report, but we have Bill Esposito.
Good evening, everyone.
Yeah.
Had a lot of normal reports in there, both from the Parks Department, the museum, Sterling Nature Center. I do have quite a few resolutions on there, so if there's something you particularly would like me to pull out of the report, I'd be happy to talk about those first. Excuse me.
Not on your committee. No, I don't.
It's all right, I'll go into the resolutions. PL1 is a resolution authorizing a 3-year agreement with the Friends of the Sterling Nature Center as a promoter of the center for 25, 26, and 27.
Okay, right into 2.
I'm sorry?
Please go right into 2.
PL2?
No for you.
PL2? Okay. PL2 is a resolution to authorize a license agreement with A&M Catering to provide hospitality management for the Emerson Park Pavilion. This resolution focuses on that contract has expired, and so it's the extension for 25 and 26. That's a 5-year. That seems to be and Rich can correct me if I'm wrong, that seems to be kind of the outside of when we're running contracts too. We'd be 5 years at that point for leases. So at the end of 5 years, we would go through a renewal process anyways, which in the reality means that we probably will RFP and bid that this summer because of the long lead time frame on booking weddings and events like that.
PL3, Doug?
Yep. PL3.
Application for municipal park grant program.
Yes, there's an opportunity for us to get, it's very specific to playgrounds. There's an opportunity for us to apply to a grant, and this resolution would only be the application for $1 million eligible grant for site work and construction associated with the playground project that the Friends are currently raising money for. It requires a 10% match. It can be in-kind services for that project, and at $1 million, we would probably have quite a bit of planning department and Parks Department time involved in that. Yeah.
Okay, and PL4?
Yep.
Explosives?
Yep. explosives. PL4 is, we're gonna put together a 3-year contract. With Amanda's help, we put out an RFP for fireworks for the July 3rd. Fireworks display at 3 years, we're able to get a better discount, long-term on it. They were the only compliant bidder, but also those prices were in line with what we have been continued to see payment and escalation over the last probably 5 years.
Okay, and just PL5 is, contract with W20 for preventative maintenance,
Correct.
sewer lift stations with Emerson Park.
Correct. And that's also a 3-year agreement, the 25, 26, and 27, to do that routine maintenance for us.
Anybody have questions on those?
We can move them and second it and then we'll discussion.
Is there any particular one you want me to pull out or just all?
If we, yeah, I mean, I guess we had asked some questions. I had asked some questions of Doug ahead of this. The A&M catering, just refresh my memory. We used to do a percentage of sales. Is that a long time ago?
Only in the very first iteration when it was the previous company. On the last 2 iterations, we've done flat rental rates.
Okay.
It doesn't require us to verify their sales.
And if they have a tough business, this is just a flat fee and this has exceeded. The last one was 88,000.
Correct.
This is starting at 100.
Correct. Yeah, we did an escalation for the previous term of 84, 86, 88,000 were the 3 years that would have included last year. And so based on the budget conversation we had this year, there was a request to increase it to $100,000 for this current contracted year, excuse me. And so we're setting it at $100,000 this year and $105,000 next year. Obviously, a 5% increase from year to year. And as I said, that actually, the whole contract will have to be rebid. We'll have to go out for RFP this year for the 27, 28, and 29 term.
Yes, sir.
Doug, is that for the catering business or is that for the playground?
Catering. This contract that we're talking about is the catering.
So do we get a percentage of what they charge at all?
No, it's just rent. Their agreement is just rent.
Can I make a suggestion that since we're having this detailed discussion, we start moving them either one at a time or all together?
Right.
Yeah, thank you.
That's my bad. I'm sorry.
Move them all as a bundle and then ask questions in second.
That's,
Yeah, whatever.
all right, I'll entertain a motion for PL1. The Friends of Sterling Nature Center.
Move it.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Right.
PL2.
Move it.
Second, and we started asking questions.
All in favor? Aye. All right, PL3.
I'll move it.
I guess I have to second it.
Yeah.
You're not being out there, but. Hey, I helped you last night, the other night, so don't. I can't vote. I know.
Yes, Bob, he's in charge. Oh. Well, the park, the questions we asked about the park was what is the risk that you will have funds to meet the match? And
Correct. And their in-kind services for this is very broad. So we could use any staffing, equipment, time, or rentals that were associated with it. If we were uncomfortable with the in-kind services match, we could target the capital H 2102 for funding from that is available for this, again, for the purpose of application. My gut feeling is as we went through the process, we would have a significant amount of in-kind that we could charge back to that and not have to deploy as much of those funds because we will have our own time and expenses associated with it.
the capital H is the set aside of ARPA funds from the $1 million.
Correct. Correct for redevelopment.
And is there risk that you couldn't spend it by 26? That was my only other question. That's the criteria for it.
So how that funding was moved over by contract to the Parks Department.
Yep.
To be expended.
Yep. So you'll make sure.
And so, yeah, I mean, we have three options for projects right now, all of which would expend all or at least a portion of all. If the bridge project, if the MBRC grant that we have out for the bridge replacement, that will take up almost all of that, what's in that fund. Yeah.
Jonathan has a question.
Yes, sir.
Couple things. I remember I remember this in concept form, and if my memory serves correctly, this was all supposed to be originally done through private funding, through the Friends, and everything was private funding. If that's my recollection, is correct. With that said, I'm not sure, and correct me, but I'm not aware of any resolution that was passed in the legislative body as far as approval of this project, as far as using either in-kind or county funds, capital H, to come up with a matching grant. I guess my point is I'm not opposed to the grant, but there's never been any authorization from the legislature to spend any county money on this project that I'm aware of, whether in-kind or not.
So if you're talking about the creation of the capital H itself, I mean,
Well, no, I'm talking about the playground specifically.
But that's what we're doing here,
That's what-
right?
that's-
That's what we're
that's-
trying to do, get our approval to apply for it and commit to the 100,000.
this is the,
No,
Well, we're saying we'll match it
well, that's what I'm asking. I'm asking.
and funding match from the in-kind services.
This project was gonna be done with private funds, the playground, I think the rendering of the playground is being paid through the Friends, but this, we passed this with the grant, we're committing county resources to the project. And I don't know if we've ever had a presentation or anything about the project to really commit county resources to the project. I don't know. I mean, maybe I'm mistaken, but that's my understanding.
And it is part of the master plan that we all, but I don't know.
That was before he was ever even a legislator.
But we have adopted a master plan toward what we consider a destiny playground.
That was before he was ever a legislator.
Yes, that's what I said.
Question,
Yes, sir.
and if people aren't comfortable, can you put an amendment here that before the money is spent has come back to legislature, because you can apply for a grant and you can get the grant, then all of a sudden, if we don't have the money, we don't have to accept the grant.
correct. And this application, this resolution is just to apply for that grant. We would still have to come back to contract.
I was just told that it says that we're committing to the,
Well, I thought the title said authorize the application to the municipal parks and recreation and funding match from in-kind services. So it goes hand in hand. I thought that we're aware that if we get this money,
my understanding is before any money gets spent from the county, we usually have to have a resolution. For instance, even if we use the money that's already set aside, in order for that money to be used, we have to have a resolution to use it. So
Yes, sir.
I'm not the attorney here, but
I have one right here.
You're here? Since you asked for one. No, so
That's my.
there may be a disconnect because I think this was the resolution that had been amended a couple times. And maybe
Oh, during our edits, you mean like?
during the edits.
Sure.
And what I'm seeing is a slight disconnect, which Ben has pointed out and Lane has pointed out between the funding and the resolve. If you look at the resolve, the first one, it talks about is authorized to apply for the grant program. Maybe what we need to do is amend the title to authorize the application to the blah, blah, blah. Scratch out and funding match from in-kind services from Cayuga County Parks and Planning Department. That may get us where I think we need to be, because this appears to be, the intent at this point is to apply for the grant. And as Doug has indicated, if the grant is received, then there'll be another application to sign the contract. So if there could be an amendment, a motion to amend.
I'll make the motion to amend as Fred just stated.
I'll second.
Thank you.
Okay. Entertain a motion for approval of the amendment.
Aye.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Make a motion for the resolution as amended.
Aye.
Second?
Yeah.
All in favor?
Aye.
Yes.
Then I will amend this and get it recirculated.
Thank you.
For meetings next week.
Thank you.
Thanks, Fred.
Ooh, that was complicated.
Okay, that was PL 3.
Yep.
All right, now, the fireworks PL.
Can I bundle PL 4 and 5?
All you want.
4 and 5?
4 and 5,
Yes.
yes.
Second?
I'll second that.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All right.
Motion to adjourn?
No, not yet.
Oh.
Take that. I'm gonna delay it even more, so.
Mr. Vitale withdrawing his motion? Sorry.
Just one quick note on PL4, that the funding for that, a lot of that actually comes in every year. There's a programming grant that comes from the Emerson Foundation. That programming grant, for example, this year is about $50,000. And so that the cost of the fireworks for annually is actually supported in its entirety for all intents and purposes from the Emerson Foundation programming grant that promotes that as well as other events in the park. The only other item I had that just came up yesterday, 2 days ago, I have received an updated quote. Back in August, we put together a bid and got quotes in for doing the lighting and electrical for the new shelter we built on Deauville Island last year. That work is scheduled to happen this spring. We got an invoice, we got a request for invoice about 3 days ago, that the original quote, the contractor would like us to cover over $1,000 worth of tariff increases that have happened since then. Those quotes were received, at the time we did the RFP. And so they're invoicing to us has reflected a considerable amount of increase from goods that have come from particularly Mexico. It seems like this is electrical equipment that's there. So we authorized a resolution for $24,000 previously for that job. And they're looking for some tariff relief from the county to complete that work as funded or as designed currently.
And this is for transparency. I think Doug has an intention of bringing this up at Ways and Means.
So I'd like to put in an amendment to that resolution to complete that work at the new rate. The difference is about $1,000. It's something that would come out of budgeted funds from the building maintenance account from the Parks Department for this year. The funds actually were originally encumbered from the previous year because we knew that the construction wouldn't happen, the installation wouldn't happen until this spring.
So you're going to bring it to Ways, you're going to amend a resolution and change the dollar amount
Correct. That's what I'm
to
requesting.
reflect the tariff or increased costs.
Right.
May I make a recommendation that the contractor actually has to prove or show that they had to pay the
Yeah, I have actually requested some invoicing for that.
Otherwise, you can just claim it.
Sure. I agree.
Okay.
Now?
No, just coming before us. I just wanted you to know. I just found out.
Oh, he means can he?
Can I adjourn now?
Adjourn.
Oh. Elliot? Yes.
Yeah.
Hi.
Hi, them, Dave.